More than 100 pro-Palestinian protesters gathered outside UNC Chapel Hill this evening with a renewed call for the state's flagship public university to cut financial ties with Israel. We saw some protests led to arrests back in May when the school year was coming to a close. WRAL's Aaron Thomas is joining us live now from campus with tonight's efforts from the group. Aaron.
Yeah, Lena, UNC Students for Justice in Palestine, they are back in action. In fact, they handed out these pamphlets listing their demands for university leaders. Now, while this organization tells me that they are suspended on campus, their mission continues. Classes are back in session at UNC. This gathering outside of South Building aims to get everyone on board with an ongoing cause.
So each of the speakers is trying to highlight exactly how UNC is complicit.
UNC PhD student Jacob Ginn joined more than 100 pro-Palestinian protesters for a months-long fight demanding the university disclose any financial ties to Israel as the war in the Middle East rages on.
This is a public institution. We can't see where they're invested in. It's despicable.
WRAL Investigates team previously reported on the challenges of releasing this information given how many categories money is invested in.
If the university is refusing to disclose, how much does it really have to hide?
Tonight's demonstration striking a different tone from the end of the spring semester. Back then, there were tense moments when demonstrators took down the American flag and police arrested more than 30 protesters for reportedly violating university policy. It's not lost on this group that this rally takes place ahead of a presidential election.
I'm not going to tell people what to do this election cycle. I encourage people to vote their conscience, but I also encourage people not to kid themselves about what the outcome of the election is going to do for Palestinians.
Tonight we reached out to UNC. We're still waiting for the response for tonight's demonstrations. No arrests took place, but as for those more than 30 protesters who were charged in the demonstrations back in the spring, they're expected in court on Monday. Aaron Thomas, WRAL News, live in Chapel Hill.
Pro-Palestinian protesters also gathered in Raleigh tonight outside the Democratic headquarters, where hundreds of Democrats would attend a watch party on the final night of the convention. About 50 protesters lined the sidewalk on Hillsborough Street as Democrats arrived at the party. They held signs reading "Abandon Harris." They accused the vice president of supporting Israel's bombing of Gaza.
Democrats come November! Democrats come November! At the polls we'll remember! At the polls we'll remember!
Protesters accused the vice president and the Democratic Party of being complicit in what they describe as genocide against the Palestinian people. They also said Palestinian voices have been silenced at the DNC this week. The state Democratic Party didn't respond to our request for a comment.